How did one Montana co-op change up their annual meeting to energize the attendees? That's what we'll be talking about on this episode of the Story Connect podcast. My name is Andy Johns, your host with Pioneer, and I'm joined with a panel this time, three folks from Flathead Electric Cooperative in Montana, Will Tutvitt, Courtney Stone, and Sherilyn Fairweather. Thank y'all all for joining me. You
Thanks for
guys
having
may remember Sherilyn from being on the episode about fonts that we did maybe 2 years ago, but she's brought some friends back with her this time to talk about the 2024 annual meeting and Energy Expo they did up at Flathead. So I'm excited to get into that, and I always like to see folks trying something different. Sherilyn, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about, it had been 84 years, 86 years, 85 years, 80 something years that the annual meeting had been happening. And y'all decided this was the year to kind of mix things up.
Yes, I was not there for those full 84 years, obviously.
Fair enough.
But the annual meeting had been pretty similar year after year, and we didn't just make this decision, on a whim. There was lots of thought that went into it and data gathering that went into making this change, and it was frankly probably at least 5 years in the making of changing our annual meeting. What we were noticing was that the members who were attending our annual meeting were aging. To say it, aging. You could tell. Mm-hmm. And also we gathered data about how our quorum was diminishing, our attendance was diminishing, because the meeting really appealed to that demographic, and that's who is engaged with us, is the members who potentially remember when we first came and the lights turned on for the first time. They're very bought in, and we love those members. But part of the strategic plan of the Board of Trustees is to engage a different, newer demographic as well. So this event was really aimed at that.
Quorum being, of course, the percentage that you guys need to be able to vote to make everything legit, whatever you guys have to, to make it an official meeting. Well, Will, I know that you were kind of the point person for a lot of making it happen. So tell us what it looked like this year. How was it different than it had been before, and just kind of set the scene for us. What did it look like? Not only the annual meeting being a little different, but introducing the Energy Expo as well.
Yeah, definitely. I will say in previous years, or compared to previous years, definitely a lot more moving parts this year. A lot more outside groups that we've been working with between our caterers and different vendors and so on. But compared to last year, things are a little bit more complex. A lot more was going on. A way bigger venue, which is something that we had to kind of dive headfirst into. We kind of lucked out. We got a really great local spot. Our local community college just built this brand new venue. We're really fortunate to be able to use it.
Nice.
So with that, we had a bunch of different areas with our expo, with our business meeting, with our caterer set up so people could have their dinners. But yeah, definitely a lot more moving parts to keep track of.
All right. What's the big question? What was served? What's the food?
We had a local barbecue business. Nice. They're super great. We just had burgers, it was pulled chicken. Pulled chicken, yeah.
Okay. All right. It's always important.
That one. It was burgers. It's changed like 6 times, if we're being honest.
Right. Well, so I think folks know, and that's awesome to have that venue. I think folks know kind of what a co-op annual meeting looks like, but an Energy Expo is something kind of new for folks. So what all, we're talking a trade show, demos, is it all y'all? Is it other folks sorry, you're talking to somebody from Tennessee. Is it all you all, or is it, did you have folks coming in from other, outside? What does an Energy Expo look like?
For us, at least this year, the idea is that our trade show expo style is just purely us. So with different booths set up with power outage information, energy efficiency information. It's kind of the idea just to keep it ourselves, kind of with our main goal of becoming our members' trusted energy advisors. with the idea of maybe expanding in later years, inviting outside vendors such as our solar panels and other companies who deal in the energy industry. But yeah, as of right now, it was just us, purely our staff.
Okay. And so they walk in and they, folks who are attending, they're seeing that you guys have booths set up and where you're, like you said, you're demoing probably some efficiency stuff or what were some of the more popular booths and the things that you think folks really connected with?
Yeah,
Well,
so with the new venue, as members walk into the main foyer area, it's kind of a larger foyer, so we had a series of booths set up. I think there were between 7 to 10 different booths, all highlighting kind of key elements of what's most asked of us, at least. So again, going back to those power outages and energy efficiency, as well as opportunities to meet and mingle with our trustees. So with that, we had different banners that kind of made the span of the wall. So they're just kind of loud and proud right as you walk in there, with some interactive opportunities. We had staff at each booth, so there was a human to talk to, each with their own expertise, as well as kind of like a little interactive video that kind of went along with the booth and the pertinent information. We also had prizes at the individual booths, so it kind of was just a carrot to get people to go to each booth and talk to our employees, so they can sign up and put their ticket into the gift ticket box there and hopefully win a prize.
got to be prizes at an annual meeting. I think that's in the bylaws somewhere, right?
Always.
I want to come back to you in a second, Will, to talk about getting the staff bought in. But let me jump back over to Sherilyn, and Courtney, feel free to jump in. But Sherilyn, just in terms of the identity of this Energy Expo, it sounds like from talking to Will, positioning was a big part of it. You guys want to position your staff as the energy experts, like he said. So how closely, in terms of the visual identity, and because I know that's kind of your wheelhouse, how closely were y'all tying this to the brand? Was this something different standalone? Did you treat it differently than you've treated the annual meetings before? Just in terms of look and feel and kind of identity of it, how did y'all go about treating this and frankly deciding on how to treat it?
Yeah, so we definitely branded the event as kind of a sub brand. It's definitely our brand, our logo, and our colors and our fonts. But we're very consistent with our use of annual meeting and Energy Expo and the way that is portrayed and treated. And
I knew fonts were going to come up somewhere, so
What's that? Yeah,
I said
fonts.
I knew fonts were going to come up somewhere. So yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No worries. So yeah, and I'm intending for the event to kind of maintain the same branding moving forward. We definitely want people to know that it's us, that it's Flathead Electric, but this is our yearly event.
Got it. Courtney, one of the things that I heard a lot during the pandemic is I would talk to people and they would say, yeah, we had to do something different in 2020 or 2021 with our annual meeting. We did was it outdoor or a drive-through or virtual or whatever, and everybody loved it, and we had more people show up, and it was cheaper for us and everything. And I would say, oh, so are you going to keep doing that? And they would say, oh no, we're going back to the way it's always been. So kudos for y'all for being willing to change it. But how do you kind of measure success on this one? What were the expectations going in, and do you think that you kind of achieved those goals and what you were after by making these changes?
Yes, it's always good to have some metrics to look at to decide, are we on track with our goals here? We're very, I think most cooperatives are this way, but as not-for-profit member owned, we're always thinking about every dollar we spend on this event, how is it benefiting the membership, and what are those key measures of success. I'll let Will get into the actual numbers, but I will say that it is really intimidating to plan essentially a large event for an unknown number of people, particularly when catering is involved. So our measure of success in the beginning, we were being fairly conservative and hoping for a slight increase in attendance and a few more representatives from various demographics, particularly those of younger engaged families here in the Valley and business owners who might help us in our advocacy efforts to protect our hydropower resources here in the Pacific Northwest. It's a big focus of our cooperative's work. And so we knew that if we got just to a slight increase above the previous attendance with a slightly larger demographic slice, that we would have achieved our goal. But in the end, really, we were blown away with how many people came. We had about 1,000 people at our meeting, when the year before we had I think it was 450. Will, you want to jump in here with those numbers?
Oh, wow.
Well, give us the numbers for comparison here.
Yeah. So we saw essentially like a 70+% increase in attendance. And so we jumped from around under 600 to over 1,000, which was really great to see, because as Sherilyn touched on earlier, it's that declining attendance was something that we were pretty concerned about. Cost was also another factor. I mean, it was a bigger venue, planning for more people, but we were essentially trying to better spend our members' dollars by reaching more of our membership. So, I mean, in years past, at its most expensive, it was around $200 per member that attended, and we got that actually under $100 this year. So that's something we're pretty proud of as well.
Nice. Yeah, and that's a huge increase. Good for y'all. And of that 1,000, the mix felt, and I don't know if this is a Courtney question or a Will question, but that the demographic mix was there more of what y'all were after? And we'll start with Will.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had a Dan the Magic Man, we like to call him. He was kind of geared towards the younger kids and our Touch a Truck booth. So we had some elements that were more geared towards kids, and with the hopes of attracting more younger families. At the end of the day, we did. We saw a lot more kids than we probably have ever seen, at least since I've been here at the annual meeting. So that was super fun to see. Lots of great interaction, and Sherilyn got some great photos of the kids at the Touch a Truck and the Magic Show. But yeah, we also ran a post-annual meeting survey, and with that we kind of just asked some demographic information. Of course, the 65 and up are going to be always our majority, but we definitely saw a increase in like the 25 to 40s and so on. So we definitely got the younger generations. We got their attention.
And Courtney, part of that shift was moving it from what y'all had it on a Saturday morning before, and you moved it to kind of right at the end of a work day to make it more convenient for some folks, right?
Right. We changed it to a Thursday afternoon. We opened the doors at 3:30, although we had people there much earlier than that. And we moved from the Energy Expo into the business meeting around 5:30, and then had dinner shortly after that. And it was all over with for the most part at 7. But we had people who were really excited to come. You asked about the interactive booths earlier, and Will was touching on our Touch a Truck. And Dan the Magic Man, who does essentially an electrical safety demonstration. It's geared for children. He has this cool zap board that he uses for that. But we also had our linemen lined up to use our electrical safety demo trailer. And I think most people know that electricity is dangerous and that you ought to stay away from it. And so they mostly do, which is good. But everybody's curious about what does it look like, when a transformer arcs or something catches on fire or whatever, and you can see all those things happening live, right, with the safety demo trailer. So that was a big hit with our members who wanted to learn more about safety and see it up close in person. So I definitely recommend, if you're thinking about changing up your annual meeting, education, of course, is a core pillar of cooperative values and something that we use to inform how we created our booths for the Energy Expo. But having that interactive element is essential, I think, to get new demographics in to see what you're up to.
And Will, that shift from Saturday to Thursday, it also helped with kind of the staffing element and the employees getting involved as well, right? That was kind of I don't know if it was unintended or not, but that certainly seems like an easier ask for employees as well to staff the event.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And I think just the aspect of this annual meeting being brand new got a lot of attention internally too. So a lot of people were just genuinely interested and kind of wanted to see it firsthand. And being involved and hands-on was a great way to do that.
Perfect. Well, this may be an impossible question, Courtney, but get the crystal ball out for me if you don't mind. And then Will or Sherilyn, feel free to jump in. Where does it go from here? Is this the kind of thing you think you guys will repeat next year? And You stay the same, change, grow? Where do you see it going?
Gosh, just ask me all the easy questions this morning, Andy.
There you go.
Crystal ball, as we continue to think about all the new ways that we're going to have relationships with our members, as we think about virtual power plants and asking members to turn EVs and home storage batteries back onto the grid to help us during our peak load times here, all those factors indicate to me that we will continue to work on our Energy Expo component of the annual meeting. The success we saw this year, we're going to build on. We did a lot of in-house debriefing. Will led lots of sessions with our coworkers to really get their honest opinion. We had a debriefing session also with senior management and our trustees. We sent out a survey that Will referenced earlier to asking our members what they thought about it. And, it wasn't all roses and daisies. There were parts of it that members did not like. And we will take that to that feedback and make a better annual meeting next year. So I don't imagine that the hard work aspect of it really will change, but hopefully we won't have to start a whole year out with standing meetings like we did last year, where we met every single Wednesday to talk for hours about what we needed to do next. So, but we're looking forward to the challenge. I mean, community outreach is what our department is all about, and communicating with members. And so we're here for that.
Perfect. Well, let me wrap up with and we do this on a lot of the episodes, but we'll start with Sherilyn, then Courtney, then Will, and just go down the line. What's a lesson learned, maybe something you didn't expect, or something really that could be a piece of advice for somebody? If there are folks listening and they say, well, our annual meeting's kind of shrinking and losing some energy, and we need to step things up. What's some advice, Sherilyn, that you would have for them that you guys learned along the way putting this one together?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Yeah. So, let's say there's somebody listening to this episode and they're thinking, yeah, our annual meeting is kind of dwindling, kind of losing energy and size as well. What's something you guys learned along the way this time doing it that would advice you could give to somebody who's in the spot where you were a year or two ago?
I would say that probably what we've learned as far as in the interactive portion of the Energy Expo goes is that if you can engage the kids, you've got them, like you've got the parents. So I think our biggest hits were the ones that were interesting to kids and also relevant. It was really cool to see our linemen interact with those kids, and that's a big win. So I would say the electric safety trailer demo with the linemen was highlight in my books.
Yep. Now, Courtney, I know that y'all were very thorough beforehand, measuring out spots. I think you said between electrical outlets, just to try to make everything go as smoothly as possible. But there's always a few things here or there. What's a couple of things that you learned this time that you would offer for advice to somebody else looking to do something similar?
Right. Yeah. Being organized from the very beginning, having very clear strategic, measurable goals that you can take back to your trustees and your senior management. Those are all things that we've touched on that were really critical. But I also would offer that we came up with a communications plan very early on. Our annual meeting is held in mid-April, and we had that communications plan ready to go by January. And that's part of being organized, but it's also easy to lose sight of the fact when you are consumed by a project and it takes up every single one of your work days, that maybe the rest of your 58,000 members, maybe they will have no idea how much work you've put into it and how excited you are to welcome them if you are not reaching them early on through every communication channel possible. And so we were very intentional with our newsletter, with our social media, with all of our local newspapers, radio, TV. I mean, we pretty much did everything but send homing pigeons out to our members, letting them know that there was this new and exciting event and that we really hoped to welcome them to it. So don't forget to get organized about that and start early with your communication efforts if you're going to change up a meeting in a big way. That would be my advice.
All right, Will, so you heard it. Go ahead and put it down in the notes for next year to have the pigeons involved to go out and help bring people in. What's something, because I know you were deep into the nitty-gritty details of all of it. What's something that you learned from this that you could pass on as advice for somebody else looking to do an event like this?
I would say it's all about the food, really, at the end of the day. No, just kidding.
You're not wrong.
But realistically, I mean, to a lot of our members, yes, that's the truth. But realistically, I would say do your research, ask your members going to this going into this, we had our annual member survey, which is totally unrelated to our post-annual meeting survey. We actually surveyed our members, asked them about the annual meeting, the upcoming annual meeting. It was a big driving force in how we kind of came about this redesign. I mean, at the end of the day, it pointed us in the right direction as far as dates and times. So from that Saturday to Thursday, we saw that our members preferred a weekday in the later hours of the day so they can come after work and so on. Also, kind of just what format they want. So we offered them up various options of formats as far as our routine Saturday morning breakfast. We even threw in, do we want to have it at our local baseball games, different venues and so on. So asking your members, getting that data, kind of just boiling it down and figuring out what works for your members and going from there.
Yeah, and I think you touched on a really critical point there. Don't just ask them, but listen. And it certainly sounds like y'all did that. So, well, congratulations on a fantastic event. I'm excited to hear that it went well, and that y'all will be looking to even build on that next year. So, Will Tutfitt, Courtney Stone, and Sherilyn Fairweather. Thank you guys for joining me and kind of sharing your story. And thank y'all. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Andy Johns with Pioneer. You've heard from the Flathead Electric Cooperative team on this one. And until we talk again, keep telling your story.
Story Connect is produced by Pioneer Utility Resources, a communications cooperative that is built to share your story. Story Connect is engineered by Lucas Smith of Lucky Sound Studio.